Good evening. Today is Sunday, December 22nd, 2019, and there's something remarkable on the calendar this year that I would like to share with you and offer as a gift to all of you for the holiday season. The year 2019 into winter 2019 into 2020, it just so happens that this year the days and the dates of the holidays for the Yuletide, solstice, Hanukkah, Christmas, also the fullness of the holiday season, really from All Hallows Eve or October 31st, Halloween, all the way through the Christmas, Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's season down to Valentine's and on through Lent to Easter and then eventually Pentecost. I have found something remarkable on the calendar. I would love to share it with you. I'd love for you to stay with me for the next 10 or 15 minutes so I can offer you a gift of 18 years of research, the culmination of 18 years of research that helps me identify exactly when Messiah is born and how this ties Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Yuletide, the solstice, New Year's Day, as well as all the other winter or holiday season holy occasions, occurrences, special days, how all of it coalesces at the same timing or with the same timing as the year Messiah is born. Hi, my name is Patrick. I am a student of theology. I am also a psychiatric counselor. And I have spent the last 30 years of my life studying theology, trying to understand the Tanakh and the Gospels, or as we say in Christianity, the Old and the New Testaments, but as well as all the different branches of Christianity, the different disciplines within Judaism, how both of these faiths connect to our Muslim brothers and sisters, and even how this connects to the Eastern faiths, including Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism. I'm going to spend the next 10 or 12 minutes sharing how all of these coalesce in one festival of lights, one season of lights that we call the fullness of the holiday season. I'm very excited to be able to share this information with you. And in the course of the last approximately 20 years, in my research and my studies and looking at the history of the calendar and the specific dates of specific, spiritual and religious occurrences, one of the very remarkable things that I found is the exact day that Jesus is born. And I will be sharing that with an upcoming video. Now, I would like to share, the purpose of our video today is to just take a few minutes to talk about what the holiday season looks like and how this holiday season from 2019 into 2020 coalesces, or really reflects, is a perfect match to what the holiday season looked like 2,000 years ago when this little baby that we call Jesus of Nazareth is born into our personal history as well as our collective world history. Studying faith has been an incredible blessing for me. God has blessed me. Our Father in heaven has given me wonderful things, wonderful confirmations, even as personal as the birthdays of very dear people in my life, including my 4 kids. And that's going to be a presentation at another time, which brings together a lot of personal and even world history. God is an amazing God. He's a God that celebrates. He's a God who loves. He's a God who gives. And he certainly gives the most that he can at this holiday season. And I'd like to share how that calendar looks like for this holiday season. Starting on December 21st, we have the turn of the solstice, or as we say, typically the first day of winter. That solstice eve blends into December 22nd, or the first full day of winter. December 22nd this year is also the first day of Hanukkah for our Jewish brothers and sisters. It's the first day of Hanukkah for our Messianic Christians, and even the Muslims and people of other faith who observe this time of year as a very important and dear time of their lives, a very festive and vibrant season of lights. What's fabulous about this year is the third day of Hanukkah just happens to fall on December 24th and 25th, what we in Christianity call the birthday of our Lord and Savior. Now, I can tell you that Jesus was not born on December 25th, for all of you people who are possibly disappointed in that, and I'll cover Jesus' birthday in a future video. But for now, I want you to know that December 25th has a very significant tie-in to our holiday season. It's a very special day for Christianity, even if Jesus is not born on this day, and even if it's maybe we could say the observance of the holiday season, the collective observance of the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, this Messiah who, again, comes into our personal lives 2,000 years ago and really becomes the center of Western, if not the center of core world history, the center of a lot of spiritual and faith values. So we're going to cover this today and look at how this season just very beautifully coalesces into the days and dates that it did 2,000 years ago. I came across a story from the rabbis, from the Jewish people, about the first 2 days of Hanukkah being high festival holidays, and also along with that, the last 2 days of Hanukkah. So days 1, 2, 7, and 8 are high holiday festive times, and then the middle 4 days, 3, 4, 5, and 6, are lower, maybe minor holiday or less significant days. But having said that, on the third day of Hanukkah, I have been told by some Jewish people that the Jewish boys and girls are allowed to open up their Christmas gifts after they and the adults have celebrated the first 2 days of Hanukkah. What's fabulous about this is that the third day of Hanukkah this year just happens to fall on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And let's look at that just for a moment, because there's something in our Christian calendar that I believe we've lost, which does tie us back to our Jewish, Hebrew, and then even the Jewish and Hebrew connection to the older Babylonian culture. The Babylonians, as well as the Jews and the Chinese, have what they call a lunisolar calendar. They date their year from the coordination of the sun and the moon together, whereas the majority of us in the West date our world history and our events on the solar calendar of 365 and a quarter days. But the Jewish or the lunar calendar is different, with 354 or an extra 29 or 30 days added to that, and that is what we call a leap year or a leap season, an extra month added, Adar the 2nd, every late winter, early spring, just before the Jewish Passover. So here's what we have on the calendar this year. We have the third day of Hanukkah being the day that the Jewish people, the Jewish boys and girls, open up their Christmas or their holiday gifts, their Hanukkah gifts. It's also the eve and the day of Christmas. Highlighting that just briefly, Christmas Eve, twilight December 24th, through twilight of December 25th, is the original Christmas day. Just as the Jewish, the Babylonian, and even the Chinese calendar, the days begin in the evening and end in the evening, it's the same with Christmas Eve and Christmas Day for Christians. Unfortunately, I believe that we've lost that portion of our history. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, up until the evening of Christmas Day, is a full 24-hour period, and that is the Christmas celebration. This year, again, it falls on the third day of Hanukkah, so Christian boys and girls and Hanukkah, or Jewish boys and girls, will be opening up their holiday gifts at the same time. What's remarkable about this year, 2019 into 2020 holiday season, is it's exactly as the calendar day and dates fell 2,000 years ago, really just over 2,000 years ago, when Jesus of Nazareth, our great Messiah, was born into our world to guide us, to be our light at this dark season, and to give us hope, but also friendship, love, compassion through the winter time, typically a very difficult time of the year to get through. Certainly that was the case back when we were all in agricultural society. And today we have our agribusiness, which allows us to eat and be jolly 365 days out of the year. But that certainly was not the case for the Babylonians 3,000 years ago, for the Jewish people, the Israelites 3,000 years ago. And it wasn't the case in our nation, in America, really up until about this past century. So we live in kind of a new time, but still our traditions harken back to the time when, at the beginning of winter, we were all very concerned about food, resources, and getting through the next 91 days to spring. These days and these holidays are significant because they help us bring joy to a time that is dark. We call this the Festival of Lights because it is a season of lights that compensates and brings us hope through a season of darkness. If we were to add 12 days to the first day of winter, we get the 12 days of Yuletide. The third day of Yuletide just happens to be the first day of Christmas for Christians. It's also the third day of Hanukkah this year. Going 11 more days beyond December 25th brings us up to the Christian Epiphany, when traditionally the three wise men bring baby Jesus their gifts, their three gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh at the end of these 12 days or of this core holiday season. So the 12 Yuletide days is adjusted by 3 days and eventually becomes the 12 days of Christmas. And I think very lovingly back to a rabbi in Joliet who said, Jews and Christians, we both have a Hanukkah, Maccabean, Christian, Christmas, common background. And this rabbi very jokingly and pleasantly, said that if we combine the 8 days of Hanukkah with the 12 days of Christmas, we can maybe all have a very nice 20 or 21 days of holiday season. Of course, she said that with a little bit of jovialness and not really doctrinal or seriousness, but it shows us that it is possible for the faiths to come together at this time of the year when the holidays not only merge and blend as they do every year, but they just happen this year again to merge and blend on the days and dates that these occurrences fall on the calendar 2,000 years ago, the very same year that Messiah is born. Again, I'm not going to give the date of the birth of Jesus in this video. That will be a future video. But I wanted to talk briefly about how these dates line up. And I believe I've given that to you in these past 13 or 14 minutes. I hope this has been a blessing to you. I want to be able to come to you and talk through some of these more dynamic aspects of our faiths. I want this to be a blessing to you. I've spent the last 30 years of my life studying theology, and I've spent just about the last 20 years working on some of the commonalities and differences between the Jewish and Christian calendars, as well as the holidays from both of these faiths. And I found that there is a perfect harmony with Christmas and Hanukkah, and specifically as we can see them lining up this year. God bless you. May this be a wonderful season. May this be a wonderful faith-filled and enjoyable time of the year. I look forward to talking to you more in the future. Be well, take care, and remember to give everybody a nice, warm holiday hug. God bless you. Thank you. Again, my name is Patrick, and I've enjoyed this time. Be well. God bless.